Hello, everybody. We are live. I hope you can see us. I hope you can hear us and everything like that. We have been having some technical difficulties again, but we'll talk about that. But hopefully, we're hoping today there won't be any technical difficulties, but never say never. Hi, Laura. Laura, how did you know Walter's not under the weather? We'll talk about why you might say that, but I'm trying to figure out why you said this, how you heard this. Because there is something to do with health here, but you're fine, aren't you?
Well, I'm a little sniffly, but
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, okay. He's a hypochondriac. Mention something around there, he's got it. You know, like,
But other than that, it's nothing really.
hi, Marlene. Hi, Donna. Hi, Jan. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Betty. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Glenna. Glenna says, thank you again for the fun retreat yesterday and the cocktail party Friday night. Looking forward to the next one. Finishing my quilt top from yesterday. Okay, Glenna, I'm glad you had a good time. Yep, I'm still a little out of it. One, I drank way too much coffee yesterday for this, and I'm still feeling the effects of it. Hi, Suzanne. Oh, good to know, Suzanne. And Eddie's here. Hi, Eddie. You alluded to it on your video this morning. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Short memory. Senior moment. Yep, I get it. Okay. We are going to talk about that, but there's nothing serious here at all. So he's still very much alive. Damn. So we'll just see who else is coming in here, and then we'll get started and talk about whatever. It was a very interesting, very busy week, really. Let's see. Thanks, Jeannie. We had Craft and Chat on Wednesday. Friday night, we had the Icebreaker Cocktail Party. Hi, Anne. On Saturday, we had the retreat. Earlier this afternoon, I had my art journal group. We meet monthly. Now we've got this live. In between all of that, I had fun time with customer service in several areas that we're going to talk about. And I tackled a pattern that I'm still tackling. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But if you will notice, what's Walter working on? Ask it. Ask it. What's Walter looking at? Yep, Wendy, you got it. That's the new shirt. He finally finished it. I'll stand up here so you can see it. It's very nice. Very
nice. Matches the pocket pretty good.
Yeah, you can't even see the pocket. You may wonder why I have to have a pocket in my shirt, because I have to be able to take my glasses and put them in something, because my glasses are for reading, for up close. And so I need to have a pocket so I can carry them around. And Wendy says it looks good. And Eddie says Kate loved the retreat. She said you were very organized. Well, next time you're talking to Kate, tell her thank you for that. I loved having Kate. We're going to come to that, though, in a minute. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about because you weren't at the retreat, we will do a little review of it. Betty says she loves the shirt. Bet it's the one Walter made. It is the one Walter made. The one that Walter's been making since. When did you start the shirt?
Began just before Christmas.
Oh, geez. Well, better late than never, I guess. And I fit into it, which is amazing. That the color suits you. Yes, thank you. Brings out the blue in my baby blue eyes. Yeah. Glenna, everybody's loving it. Very slimming. Ooh. Thanks, Jan. Did you make it that way so I would look slim? No, you didn't do that. If anything, you'd make it so I'd look fatter than I am. But anyway, so what else are you working on?
Working on your income tax right now.
Oh, he says with much disdain. Yes, it's income tax time in Canada. So Walter's working on does my income tax, and he does my mother's. This will be the last time you have to do my mother's, since this is the dead tax you're working on. Anne says, nice John. Meaning job, of course. Walter, you did a great job on the shirt, says Jeannie. Yeah. Yeah, he did. So, what's your next sewing project going to be?
I'm not sure. Maybe another shirt. Maybe I've got something else. A couple other things I want to do.
Oh, too. Like what?
Well, I got to look at that jacket that I was looking at, thinking of doing. That,
oh yeah.
I got to look at the pattern.
Well, we still need skirts.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
for our
I gotta look
costume.
for that too.
Yeah, you gotta look for a pattern for that. We're going to make costumes for the Ultimate Sewing Retreat that we are programmers for at the end of the month. That's our local quilt store, and we're kind of the entertainment too on one of the nights. So our alter egos, Matilda Mudslinger and Gladass Happy Bum, will be emerging. So we have some ideas for what they may be wearing this year, and it will involve some sewing for Walter. Hi, Patsy. Suzanne says, really enjoyed the craft and chat, the cocktail and the treat. Nice talented bunch with a good sense of humor. Yeah, they are. They're always fun. And there's so much talent there. Hi, May M. So yeah, it was a good time. So that's all you've been working on. Finishing my shirt, now doing income tax. Okay, well, what have I been working on? Well, lots of things. And I'm going to show these things to you. I just have to switch things over here. Just give me a second. Okay, so here's the first thing. This I did very quickly on a whim. The little gnome, Irish gnome in the center of this was an impulse buy. When I was ordering some stuff from an online store, I happened to see this, and I thought, well, that's kind of cute. I don't do a lot of applique. I don't mind doing applique once I get into it, but usually I have to be into it to do it. And so I did this little guy, and I thought, well, what can I do with them? So I decided to make a banner for the front door of the house. And yeah, the colors are loud, but that's okay. It's for St. Patty's Day. I kind of think it turned out all right. And if you see my quilting, I did ruler foot quilting on this. And I'm really happy with the way the ruler foot quilting turned out. I'm getting better at that. The wavy lines, of course, are my signature walking foot wavy lines all the way around. And I happen to have this fabric that worked beautifully for the binding. It's sort of a gradient in all the same colors that were in the applique and around it. So yeah, it just was a quick little project, and it's hanging on our front door right now. And I'll leave it there until the end of March, and maybe I'll come up with something that I can make for April. I don't know, something springy, maybe with tulips on it or whatever, and an organ. Because what would you rather have? Roses on a piano or tulips on it? Never mind. Okay, so that's one of the things, and this. Eddie, here's the strong and free quilt. I thought I was done. This has been the quilt from hell in terms of the pattern. There shouldn't have been any real problems with this because this is just made up of strips and a panel in the center. Fairly easy peasy. But it is if they had done the instructions correctly. They told you to cut the strips certain length, and then when they were telling you to assemble it, they didn't even mention those lengths of strips. They wanted, the longest strips in this are 4.5 inches by 36.5 inches. They said they wanted you to use the 38.5 inch strips. There was nowhere in the cutting instructions that said you had to cut strips that were 38.5 inches. And it went down from there because you can see it's sort of a gradient, right? Where the strips are, they get a little larger or smaller. And basically all the measurements for what they told you to cut were off by 2 inches. But I made it work, except when I got it all finished and laid out on the floor, ready to go on to Lucy for quilting, I realized I put 2 of the strips in the wrong order. These 2 strips right here should not be this way. This one should be here, and this one should be here. If you notice this side, so in other words, this longer strip should have been closest to here, and this one over there. So I've got to rip this row out. Actually, I got 3 rows to rip out. This row, and this row. So essentially this whole panel that's here, or this section here, has to be ripped out and put the right way. So I'm a little pissed off with myself for doing that. That wasn't the pattern's fault. That was my fault. But if you notice here too, this section should have gone, there shouldn't have been this little skinny piece and this little skinny piece there. They should have been long enough to go right across here. They told you to cut the panel a certain width and length, and I did that. and the top pieces fit fine. But they were out by about an inch, actually 2 inches out. I don't know. They didn't take into consideration, I guess, the seam allowances or whatever. So when I got these together and laid it down, realized, this doesn't fit. So I added these 2 strips of fabric so it would kind of blend into this up here. Not exactly the way it's supposed to look, but it will do. So essentially, I redesigned the quilt because their instructions were wrong, completely wrong. And that really pissed me off. But I'm back to gnomes again. So I found this pattern to make gnomes in different colors because unlike this gnome's all in one piece. And the only reason there's red on his nose is because I used a red marker on it. But these ones were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces. So you could make them any color you want. So I did. Had a little problem with his nose here, as you can see, but I'm not worried about that too much. I mean, I'm just playing. But then in the meantime, back to the Ultimate Sewing Retreat at the end of the month, I have been making a lot of things. So I think I've shown you these pin cushions before that I designed on a 3D, that's what I mean, 3D, rented lips. 3D printer, these thimbles. So I made 50 of these. I don't want to make any more of these. I am done. And we are going to do a challenge that weekend of the retreat where people are going to get a random bag of scraps and put together a scrappy block, design it, and we'll pin them up on a board. And then people get to vote for the ones they like the best. And these are the prizes. These are the trophies. And down here, you can't see it in the video, I don't think. Oh, yeah, you can. Ultimate Sewing Retreat 2022. So winners will get a trophy. And then they'll also, these will be prizes. And I made, again, it's hard to see through the cellophane, but there are gnomes attached to these thimbles. And they're little, like, put in some little colored markers and things. So they can use it for a pen holder or whatever they want. And then I made 6 of these. I think I made 12 of these. And I made 6 of these little things here. And these are actually cell phone holder. But I'm putting in a thing of sticky notes, as well as my business card for the Idiot Quilter along with it. So the reason I'm making these is we want to make sure we have enough prizes for the weekend, because normally the store has people that they get donate prizes, like suppliers that they buy from for the store. But this year, according to Donna, the hostess with the mostest, they're having a little problem getting stuff. So I thought, well, if they don't get enough, at least I can sort of supplement it. And you know me, I like making these kind of things. So have those all together and ready to go. Let's get back here. And what are people saying? Let's back it up. You'll notice this week I am not using the little pull down thing for people's comments because we don't know what happened last week. We have a theory. But I don't know if when we froze up and lost everybody and had to come back on, I don't know if it had anything to do with using that little program or not. I actually don't think it is, but it's kind of cumbersome to use in the way the setup is. So does anybody really care about reading people's comments? You can read them on the sidebar as they come up. So I'm not going to do that. So let's see. Back it up here. Patsy's here. Hi, Patsy. I don't know if I said hello to you before. Anita's here. Hi, Anita. Yes, Anita, I have the shirt on. And Marie's here from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Marie. Teresa. Hi, Teresa. Eddie loves the colors. Laura likes the red gnome. Oh, Andy's here. Hi, Andy. Andy, you missed the art journaling group today. Thanks, Patsy. So, yeah, that's what I've been working on. So we had a little problem with the water heater.
Mm-hmm.
Walter says to me, almost about what time of night was that?
Well, I was getting the garbage together for the garbage day, and I noticed that there's a little bit of a puddle of water under the water heater.
Luckily, it sits right by the drain in the floor in the laundry room, which is a cement floor. So it wasn't much water, but it looked like it was leaking out from underneath, like a slow leak. Actually, we thought it may have been doing this for a while because there was sort of some rusty stains there that we'd never really paid much attention to.
But that could have been from the previous
Well,
water
that
heater
could have
too.
been, yeah. So, anyways, it's not that old. The water. I don't know. When did we get
It's
that?
10 years. It's
Is it?
10
Oh, that's
years
right. We
old.
did figure out it's 10 years old. Well, they should last 100 years. Like, yeah, nothing lasts 100 years. So that was Monday night. Yeah, you
Yeah,
were
it
going
was.
the
Yeah.
Monday night, and so at 10 o'clock Monday night, I phoned Enercare. Enercare is the company we deal with for this kind of stuff, and we have, you know, maintenance plans, and it's a rent-it water heater as well. So you know, we pay so much for it every month, but we also have these extra plans. Well, I called them up. They have 24-hour 7 service, and I thought, well, we got to get this looked at. So I talked to the guy on the phone and he arranged it all. And so we had a guy come out. He came at 10 o'clock, pretty around 10 o'clock the next morning and looked at it. He says, there was a crack in the drain pipe or something on
Yeah.
the inside.
Which apparently is common. So.
Yeah. So he was here maybe half an hour, fixed it all up. It was good to go, no problem. If we had not had the plan that we have, it would have cost us about $190.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we've paid.
Oh
for
yeah,
it,
I'm sure we have. We pay into that every month, but we saved this money, according to him.
Oh, yeah.
We saved this money. Well, no, we pay so much every month, so yeah. But anyways, it's just good to know it's looked after and we don't have to worry about it. So that's good. Of course, and we're going to talk about customer service today a little bit. But this is one of the things. When I was talking to the guy on the phone at 10 o'clock Monday night, he's trying to sell me something. He's trying to sell me another plan that protects our home wiring. So if we had anything go wrong with our home wiring, they'll send in a certified electrician or something to fix it, and it won't cost us anything. Well, yeah, don't really need it. And the guy's giving me the big roll, and so I let him go through it all. And then I says, no, not interested, thanks. And he starts up again, like he wasn't letting me off the hook. So I just turned around and said, well, I'm an electrician. Oh, well, I'm not, but my brother-in-law is. So I mean,
Yeah.
I just figured it would shut him up, and it did shut him up. He says, oh, okay, so fine. But they're always trying to sell you something. In fact, he says to me, like he reads the whole thing about COVID. Guy coming in, you got masks on, keep 2 meters distance, make sure, you know, ask me all the COVID questions that they ask for all this kind of stuff. And that's all fine and dandy. You know, I'm fine with that. But then he says, something I had to agree to. Now, if the service person comes out, he may recommend some other products for you or things you might, that he thinks might be of value to you. Is that okay? I said, sure, fine. No problem. Because I always have that magic word, you know? No. The guy didn't, though. He didn't.
No.
He checked everything out. He says, your water tank and everything is good. He said, it's just, that's a common problem. He said, not to worry about it. So I'm not. But, you know, when you own a house, and Anita, you must know this first off, when you own a house, there is always something you have to do. So what are people saying here? Anita says, nice work. Your retreat must be in person. Oh, yeah, the one for the ultimate sewing. Yeah, it is an in-person retreat. And they haven't had one of those, you know, since before COVID started. The last one that they had was just the week before everything went to hell with COVID. So, but they've got protocols in place for this because I was very apprehensive about this. You know, I mean, I go to a grocery store now and I just want to get out. I've become very paranoid about being around people, you know, because you go in, you've got your mask on, you know you're triple vax, but you have no idea what other people are. And, you know, we've got the crazies out there who, you know, the anti-vaxxers and things. So you never know. But they're going to have everybody sort of set up in cohorts, and we're going to be like small, like only 3 people at a dinner table, supposedly. No buffet style. This place we're going to, like, it's over 3 days. And we've been there before. They have sort of a buffet, serve yourself for dinner and stuff like that, and it's all being plated. Everybody has to wear their mask, except when they're sitting at their sewing machine. They can take it off, but when you get up to go, say, to the washroom or to mill about or whatever in the big hall, then you have to wear your mask, and everybody has to be vaccinated as well to come to this. So I think we'll be fairly safe, hopefully, but we'll see.
Yeah, Laura, our water here is reasonably hard, but it's not awful type of thing because we run a hot tub and actually the water's pretty balanced here. So
Yeah, this is our second water heater since we've been in the house, but we've been in the house for 27 years. So I guess that's not bad. And Laura says, yeah, Reliance tried that electricity plan on me too. Like you, I told them to go away. Yep. Hi, Fidel. Well, Fidel, are you ever on time? You're on Mexican time, aren't you, Fidel? Nita says, yes, we are buying painting rooms. Well, that'll be a lovely
paint for rooms.
I know. Yeah, but I was thinking, well, that's neat. Can you buy a painting room? I don't know what that's like. And we'll have the chimney guys here in a couple of weeks to start work. Yeah, I saw in your letter you sent to me, your email about that. Teresa says, I had 3 water incidents: a cracked foundation under new home warranty, a flood from the water turn-off failure, and another flood from a sump pump failure. I'll never complain about insurance premiums.
That reminds me, I got to phone that insurance company to up our insurance for the basement.
Oh, yes, you should. Well, get on with that, can't you? Like, don't you have a secretary to make notes for you and remind you of this? You need a personal assistant, and I'm not it. But anyways, so that was one problem we had this week, the water heater, but that was kind of minor and it got solved very quickly. So, before we talk about the other problems though, let's just talk about the other events we had this week. I already mentioned the Art Journal group. Andy, where were you? Were you out walking the dog and forgot about us again? With that?
Maybe she just doesn't like you.
Well, that could be it too. Who knows? Maybe I wore you out at the retreat, yeah, well, Andy.
Might have been like too much internet all weekend for her.
Well, felt like that for me too with it. So, yeah. So the Art Journal group met this afternoon earlier, and it always astounds me the creativity of those ladies in that group, because one was showing us today how to use the envelopes you get in the mail that have the little clear window in them, that we toss. Well, she had about 10 different things she had found on the internet and how to use them, and they were really cute, the things that she was making with them. Almost made me want to go back to my paper crafting days. Almost. Well, after the hell I've been going through lately with a couple of patterns, I almost think I should. But it's always interesting, and in fact, 2 of the ladies were on the retreat yesterday, and I sort of picked on them to present some of the things that they'd been working on, and I think people really enjoyed that. Hi, Veronica.
I guess it's a nice diversion from like everybody. Some people are doing crafting and some people are doing sewing. So I mean, it's good to get ideas from what other people are doing.
Well, the other thing is too, although this is primarily our quilters on there, lots of people do other things besides just quilt. Like they may be paper crafters or scrapbookers or painters or whatever as well. So I like to keep the retreat with a variety of, it's for makers of all kind.
Yeah, like there's a lady that joined that was from England, and she said her husband was knitting in the background, and he could have joined in too. It didn't really matter what you were doing. So,
well, we missed you, Fidel. But life happens, right? And I'm hoping the issues you were having, I thought you said something about that you were going away that weekend, you thought at one point, with it. But anyways, I hope that the issues have settled themselves out. Yeah, Patsy, the paper crafts were amazing. Pat, one of the presenters I had, is also a lady in my art journaling group, but she makes these amazing 3D creations and pop-up, greeting cards as well, but they're just not your ordinary pop-up greeting card. These things, she had one that was a peacock, and when you open it up, the whole tail comes out, and it's all made from paper. It's just fantastic. And then she has these Easter eggs. They look like Fabergé eggs, and all made out of paper as well. They're just fantastic. And we also had at the retreat, we had Adrian Bennett. Now, if some of you would remember, I interviewed Adrian and put it up on the Idiot Quilter Presents back last fall, I think it was now, when I interviewed her. She is a milliner. She makes hats, and they're stunning. They're just stunning what she makes. You know, I think it would make people. I don't think a lot of ladies wear hats anymore. But you know, if you saw her creations, I think you'd want to wear one. And she makes fascinators as well, too. And she actually, a little crossover here, one of the ladies who was not an official presenter, but I asked if she would show her Rolodex book, was showing that. And Adrian got this idea that she could make a fascinator that had a book on it, kind of a thing. She was going to work on that. So you see, there's kind of this cross-pollination thing that happens when you have people that do all kinds of different creative things. And I think that's a good thing to happen as well. But her stuff is just incredible. Yeah, I used to do junk journaling too, It was lots of fun when I was into that. The paperwork and hat making were incredible, as was Kate Jackson. Yes, Kate Jackson. I can't thank Eddie enough for giving me the idea and giving me the connection with Kate, because I really wasn't going to email her and ask her because, well, first of all, I didn't even think of it because, I mean, it's Kate Jackson from the Last Homely House YouTube channel. She has a huge following. You know, she's a YouTube celebrity as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, I didn't think she'd want to bother with, you know, my little station or my little channel or anything like that. But Eddie said she's really nice because he's actually met her and she made him a quilt and she's making him another one. And I think, Eddie, you said you're going over in September or that to pick it up. So he knows Kate. And so I wrote to Kate, and I didn't expect her. I really felt that she'd probably be very nice, but, you know, let me down gently. No, she said she'd love to do it. Not only did she do it, but she also donated a prize. And Jeannie's here today. Jeannie won the prize. And see, Kate has some wonderful stuff on her online store. And most of it, she either makes it or she gets it from local artisans as well. And I would have liked to have won that myself, actually. But so, Jeannie, I think you're going to be really thrilled with what Kate will send you. And you'll have to let us know. You'll have to send me some pictures of what Kate sends you as well. Probably will take a while to get here because it's got to come from England, of course. And you know, everything that comes across anywhere these days by postal service or whatever is like snail mail. So yeah, and Kate gave a great. I interviewed her, and she's an absolutely lovely person. I would love to meet her in person too. I'd love to go out and have lunch with her and the whole bit. But with her permission, I did record that part of the retreat with her interview, and that's going to go up probably on Tuesday. So you'll be able to, you know, see the interview with Kate.
Yeah, she's a really interesting person.
Yeah, she really is.
I like watching her YouTube channel as well. She seems to be very relaxed and very
she's very down to earth.
Yeah,
but she is so creative. She is just so very creative, and she quilts, and she knits, she spins wool, she has dyed wool, she does journal work, she does, you name it. She's done all kinds of things. Just an extremely creative person, and just really, really nice. And her family, her children are all very, very talented too. Her one son is a woodworker, like a craft woodworker kind of a thing. And her daughter is a musician, and her other son is in filmmaking. And if you saw the program His Dark Matter, he worked on that production as well. You know, in behind the scenes, the video videoing it. I don't know exactly what his job is, but he's involved with that. And yeah, they're just very talented people all together. So I think you'll really enjoy when I put it up, the interview with Kate, because it was great. Yes, Patsy, she's very charming and talented for sure. Um, and Jeannie says, I'm excited and we'll send pictures. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Um, so anyways, that was, I think overall, I was very pleased with the retreat. I think it went along very well, but what people didn't really realize was how much technical problems I was having. Now, they knew that I had mentioned that I was freezing up on the Zoom. Everybody else was okay, but I was freezing up. But I had two computers going, and I had my iPad going as well, because I like the iPad allows me to see what other people are seeing, so I could monitor. Like I had some videos and things to show as well, so I wanted to monitor them. So I used my iPad as a monitor. But luckily, when my main computer froze up on the Zoom, my iPad was still working and I could use it. So it didn't disrupt things, I don't think, too much. But I was like really PO'd. And well, I'm coming to this. This is part of the problems I'm having with our provider and why I'm hoping today we don't have any problems with this, because these are symptoms of, I think, something that's a greater problem. But anyways, it's not easy. We had, at the height of the retreat, we had 40 people on there. Managing that many people, well, I've had experience managing that many people before, like for my lifetime as a classroom teacher. So, but juggling it all, especially because, they're all different personality types, and you get some people who will tend to, well, sometimes monopolize the conversation and things like that. Not that I'm saying that that was a bad thing necessarily, because, it kept things moving along. But sometimes, you, as moderator, you want to make sure everybody's having a good time and nobody's being left out. At least that's the way I feel about it. So, but I got a lot of nice comments. Some of you were there. You know what we're talking about. So, yeah. So if you missed the retreat, there will be another one. It won't come until probably the end of September, maybe the very early part of October. And if you're interested in that, you can drop me a line to my email and say, yeah, I'd be interested in being on the mailing list for your next retreat. That is not an obligation on your part. That doesn't mean because you've given me your email address that I'm going to make you stick to it, because life happens. But I will put you on the mailing list, and that means that you will get advance notice of the date and other particulars about the retreat then. So, think about it if you want to be on it. More the merrier.
Yeah. It was, 9 to 5?
Yeah, 9 to 5. Yes, Laura, you did miss a good time. And I hope you can attend the next one. Yeah, I don't do a 12-hour one because, quite frankly, that's me. I was exhausted after yesterday. I mean, I did get some things I want to do get done. Like I got done those pin cushions but that was an easy thing to do. And they've been hanging over my head and I knew I had to get at them. So I was using breaks for that. But I have all this paperwork that nobody sees sitting beside me. I'm taking attendance. Like, first of all, when people came into the waiting room, I didn't let them right in because, we've got those mad Russians out there who are trying to use their little robots to get into our live Zoom things and even YouTube live. We've had a few on here, as many of you know. And I wasn't letting anybody get in there that I didn't know. So I asked people to make sure they signed in with their first and last name. That fell upon deaf ears in some cases. And okay, this is a bit of a pet peeve. I don't understand why some ladies have two names. And what I mean by that is they will sign in as, let's say, Chris, but their real name is Carol.
That's because on the what do you call it, the uh, dating sites you have
Oh yeah. I don't
they have
know.
an alias name.
But what they don't understand is it throws me for a loop. I have people's email addresses next to their name and I do prizes, right? I gave out 5 gift certificates to Amazon. But in order to do that, I have to have your email address to send the gift certificate to. I do it all through Amazon. And if something isn't right on there, that gift certificate may go to the wrong person. It may go into oblivion. And I need to have your legitimate first and last name. I'm not invading your privacy, but it's so that I know you're a legitimate participant. That's the only reason I ask for those things. And I have explained that to people before too. But nevertheless, I still had people come on and give me a different name. And it confused me. But here's a real confusion that happened this morning. I got an email. I'm not going to say the person's name. I got an email from somebody, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I missed the retreat. I intended to come, but then I had, and she had some life happened and couldn't be there." I thought she was. I swear her name was under a picture of someone who was there who was fairly active, and her name isn't that common a name, so, and it was the first and last name, so I don't know what was going on. That one's boggling my mind. I mean, I'm sure I didn't make a mistake. So I don't know what happened with that. But anyways, you know, these things can get very you know, tense when you're an organizer. And then of course, I had the speakers, and I have to say all 3 of my speakers were there and ready to go at the time that I had set up for them. And that was brilliant, because when I've organized things before in the real world, where you're expecting a speaker and they show up late or they don't show up for whatever reason, and you're left holding the bag. And there's nothing worse for an organizer than having that happen with a speaker or presenter, for whatever reason why it happens. But all 3 of my speakers showed up they were there most of the day anyways, and bang on time, and they all stayed within the parameters of the time that I allotted them, because I didn't want them going on for 2 hours, because people would drift off, kind of a thing. No matter how interesting you are, you don't want to listen to somebody for 2 hours, like us. Don't say it. You can jump in here anytime.
Yeah, I know.
Because
you're doing fine.
I hate a vacuum, and I'll just fill it. Okay, I abhor a vacuum. But so that was great. But I also had, certain things I had to do at certain times. I had it timed to when I was going to do. Okay, maybe I'm a little anal. All right. Some people would say a lot, but I am a very organized person. So yeah. But needless to say, it went off fine. So it was good. Hi, Karen. Hi, Margaret. Margaret says she enjoyed the day yesterday. She got 2 projects done. That's great. And your shirt's getting a compliment from Margaret.
Okay.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Laura says, how long? Yeah, we already talked about that.
Thanks for all the compliments to the shirt. Hopefully it won't fall apart.
Yeah. What? There's a chance?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, you've had it apart many times.
Yeah, I have.
This one, the shirt from hell.
I had lots of problems with that shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Laura, I am a little tired. It's catching up to me today. But funny thing was, I was tired last night, and we were watching some television, and I think I did fall asleep at one point in the chair. But then I went to bed about, what time was it? About 10?
Around 10, yeah.
10, and I was really tired. And I always read before I go to bed or in bed.
Yeah, but that's usually about half an hour after your normal time.
Yeah, it was. Okay, fine. So I did a little reading, and I was nodding off. I fell asleep. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep, and my brain was working again overtime. You know how that happens? You're thinking about this and that and everything. And so I grabbed my cell phone and started making notes and sent them to myself as an email. And then after that, I was able to sleep again. But nevertheless, yeah, it's the way it works. Thanks, Jan. So the retreat was great. We also had craft and chat this week as well, and that was great, as usual. And we're getting a few more people every time we do craft and chat, and that's great. Craft and chat is a small little 3-hour mini retreat, you might call it, except there's no prizes, there's no presenters. We just work on whatever. Much more relaxed, and I can usually get things done during that too. So, but the next one will be the first Wednesday of April, which is, I don't know what the date of that is, but it's there somewhere happening. And I was on another retreat, sort of. I dropped in for a few hours. Brenda, who was on at my retreat yesterday, she was running one with several people who also run YouTube channels that are quilters. She called the International Sew Day, and I joined them. I got a lot done with during their retreat. But boy, were they ever man bashing at that one. I kept my mouth shut as I was the only man at this retreat. There weren't a lot of people at it. And what they were saying actually wasn't that bad or anything. But I just got thinking, hello. And they kept referring to everybody. Well, ladies, I kept my mouth shut.
Well, that's because you were organizing it. You weren't getting that at yours. So.
Well, probably. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Actually, I kind of agreed with some of the things that they were saying, too. Some of it was very true. Others of it, though, was sort of like, okay, that may be true, but tit for tat, that kind of thing. But I wasn't getting into it. I was outnumbered. So, nope, I just kept my head down and kept working. But it was fun. It was okay. It was enjoyable. Brenda thought it was a bit of a, what did she say? A wrecked train? I didn't think so. A train wreck. But I don't know why she said that, because it seemed to go along quite well. I mean, yeah, it wasn't quite okay, pat myself on the back, but it wasn't quite on the scale of what I run. But this is the first one that she's ever done, and you got to start somewhere. And like I said, I'm a person who's very anal about organization. So, but I thought it was fine, what she did. So I told her that. What are people saying here? Oh, Patsy says, Walter, get out your glue gun and stapler.
No, it should be secure. I had there's a spot in the collar I wasn't happy with earlier this week, so I tore part of the collar apart again, and fixed it properly.
Well, he is a perfectionist, and I don't know. I haven't examined it closely to see if I could find a mistake.
There might be a few threads hanging around out there.
Oh, there's thread.
Yeah, I know. I had a little trouble with the cover stitch machine.
The one thing I would have said, I don't know, is you did this as a traditional, it's got a tail on it. I don't tuck my shirts in.
Well, that's the pattern.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
With it. But it could have been straightened off the back. But it's okay, because actually...
You want me to straighten it
No,
off?
I don't want you to straighten it, because the reason I don't tuck my shirts in is because it's more slimming if you don't. And that's my story, but yeah.
Well, it doesn't have that bad of a curve on the back, actually. I think it's pretty subtle.
Well, it's not as... Well, it comes down past my... Well,
It's
just
not
the
too
top
bad.
of my... But it's fine. It's fine. Suzanne says, when you're in charge, Stephen, you must be a planner and an organizer. Nothing wrong with that. Very frustrating person is not. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Angela's here. Hi, Angela. Hi there. Jumping in late. Sorry. There's no excuse, Angela. But yes, I'm joking. Enjoyed the cocktail party and retreat. Thanks so much for putting it all together. A lot of work. Yeah, and I think I kind of and apologize to your husband. I think I gave him a bit of the bum's rush when he came on. I was really happy to meet him, and I would have liked to have talked to him in more detail about 3D printing. But yeah, I was a little busy doing other things. But thanks for bringing him on there for a few minutes. I always like to meet someone who's got an interest in 3D printing too, because that's another community I belong to. As well. So I just hope he didn't really think I was being a bit rude and, giving them the bum's rush, kind of a thing. Like, hi, it's nice to meet you. Yeah, your 3D printer. How nice. Bye-bye. Because that's not what I wanted to do at all. Okay, so it was busy. We did all of that. Let's talk about other things that happened this week. When you're planning a major event, there's always a whole lot of other things that happen at the same time to get your goat. So we had the water tank problem. That was minor. Well, a more major problem that I had was with my internet service, and I'm still going on. My email. I use an old third-party client software to pick up my email. I've been using this program since,
The 90s.
yep, 30 years probably, different variations of it. They don't even bother making it anymore. It's called Eudora. And basically, it allows you to pick up your email from online, but puts it onto your computer screen. And I'm comfortable with it. And, I know I should be, you should teach an old dog new tricks kind of a thing. But if it's not broke, why fix it sometimes? And I'm comfortable with it. But lately, it's been doing weird things. And I didn't know whether it was the program or whether it was the actual my email provider, which is Bell Canada. They're our internet provider, our television provider, our landline provider, our cell phone provider. They provide everything because they're pretty much a monopoly in this country. They only have one major competition, and that's the other monopoly, Rogers. And Rogers sucks, is equally
As sucky.
as Bell, yeah. So I started doing some investigation. And what was happening was I was getting this error message saying been too many attempts to get into your email. Wait 30 minutes and try again. That was on Eudora. When I went online and into it right online at the website, it was coming up with the same message except it said wait 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh, have I been hacked? Has somebody been trying to get into my email? So, and I thought, do I have a virus on my computer that's trying to do this too? So I have a fairly elaborate virus checker on my computer that we pay big bucks for every year. And they're very, very reliable. AVG is the name of the company. And I've been dealing with them for a long time now. I used to use Norton, but screw Norton. Norton sucks. Norton sucks. Used to be good, but not anymore. But anyways, and McAfee or McAfee, whichever way you want to say it, they've been around for 100 years, and they don't do anything. I don't even know if they really have any support for them or anything anymore. So I did a deep scan of my computer and everything. And it did find a couple of suspicious things that might have been malware, but it blocked them out. And my virus protector blocks things like automatically. It's always on. It's active at times. So that's one thing that's really good about it. It's not like I have to stop, think about it, and run my whole computer through this system. It does it automatically. So I checked that out, and nope, my conclusion was I don't have a virus on here. So is somebody from attacking, the email from outside, going on to the website for Bell and, trying everybody's, that kind of thing. So this was annoying me. So I went into chat mode on the support page of Bell. I got, hi, I think the first one was Randy. They've changed the names now. The names don't say, like names that you can't pronounce, which would suggest that they're probably from India. They've been, third-partied out for the service. Anyways, Randy says, hi, how can I give you excellent service today? I love that line. I'll come back to that. Excellent service. So, hi, Randy. My name is, this is my problem. I copied the error message into him. He goes, I think I can help you with that. Well, thank you, Randy. I would love some help with that. So Randy did this and he says to me, well, first of all, what browser are you using? I told him, Chrome. Okay, you should try to clean out your cache and then re-log in. So I did that. Re-logged in, got the same error again. Said, well, Randy, that's not working. Okay, well, And then he did a couple other things, and none of them really worked or whatever. Meantime, I did get back into my email, but then it was hit and miss. I'd be in for a while, and then I'd try to get back in again, and it would do this again. So he gave me somebody else to solve this problem. Well, actually, what happened was it did start to work again after some of the things he said. So I thought, okay, we've got it fixed. Great. Thanks, Randy. It's great. Wonderful. Thanks. Bye-bye. And a few hours later, I'm back to the same thing again. So I go into chat again. This time I got somebody else and said, okay, this is what's already been done. And you know, the problem is there's a transcript of everything you've gone through. And, and this guy said, okay, I will create a service ticket. You will be contacted within 2 to 4 hours by a technician to help you with this problem. Thanks, whoever this guy's name was. Nothing happened. That was 10:30 in the morning. It's now 6 o'clock at night. That's way more than 4 hours. Nobody contacted me. I went in and contacted them again. This time I went via the phone line. I get Mary. Mary has a slight accent, but I can't really place it, okay? You know, no big deal. It's Canada. Everybody's got an accent of some sort. So I explained to Mary again what the problem is. And I said, but Mary, I have a service ticket. The things that the other 2 people I talked to did not work. Someone was supposed to contact me within 4 hours. It's been like 6, 7 hours now. No one's contacted me. Okay. Well, she says, oh, I can see here, yes, the service ticket. I will put that in again. Someone will contact you within 24 to 48 hours. I said, Mary, that's not acceptable. I need to speak to somebody now. Well, no, as I said, it will be 24 to 48 hours. Mary, as I said, this is not acceptable. So, Mary, if you can't help me, can you put me on to somebody who's above you that I'd like to speak to? Well, I'm the highest you can go. And I'm telling you, you'll get contacted within 24 to 48 hours. Mary, that's not acceptable. I want to speak to somebody else. Well, you can't. And I says, no, there is somebody above you, Mary, and yes, I can. And I'm not getting off the line until I get that person. Well, I can connect you to somebody in tech, but they're going to tell you the same thing that I have told you. And I said, well, be the case. It may be so, but I want to talk to them. So thank you. So connect me. Well, and then she was going on and on. I says, Mary, also, just before you disconnect here to connect me to somebody else, can I ask, is that your real name? And I started to say, because, you know, they always come up with a review, but I wanted to know if that was really, because they come up with these names, right? Yes, that's my real name. It's the name that my mother gave me. What's wrong? And she went on and just berated me for asking her if that was her real name. So I let her go on, and I finally said, look, that's not what I'm asking. Go ahead. Connect me with somebody else. Thank you for your help. So Mary went off the line and connected me and then hung up on me. I guess I pissed off Mary. Don't ask Mary if that's her real name. I have a few names for Mary too that aren't her real name, but should be. But anyway, so I called back. Actually, she called me back. And she says, oh, the line went dead. And I said, yeah, it did.
Well, at least she called you back.
Yeah, she did call me back. Well, maybe she was getting a little afraid now. I don't know, because they do have this, although I never got one. So it never did come through. A review for them. Anyways, so she was going to connect me. Well, I'm sitting there waiting and waiting. And I finally decided, you know, I'm not going to get anybody, because I have a feeling Mary just put me on a dead end track. And then it hung up anyways. So I gave up on that. Well, somebody the next day did call me. It wasn't until late in the day. Actually, they called me twice. The first time they called me, we were out at a farmer's market picking up a couple of things, and I was standing in the checkout line at that point in time, and there were a couple of fat broads right behind me. And yes, I'm calling them fat broads because they were as rude as hell. They were sucking back on a chocolate bar, and they were not social distancing whatsoever. And they had a screaming kid with them too. And at that point, I was in no mood. So I couldn't answer the phone. But he left a message on it. He said he'd try my landline. He'd get back to me. Well, he did get back to me. And very nice person. And he was a technician. And he knew what he was talking about. I was so surprised. Told him my problem. He told me what to do to try this, that, and the other thing and whatnot. And what he told me made perfect sense. So I did all those things. But this is the one that I really liked. Like, you talk about good customer service. Well, we'll see if this happens. He said, would you like me to call you back tomorrow, which would have been Saturday, right? And to see how things are working out for you and everything like that. And I said, tomorrow isn't a good day, but could we leave it over the weekend and maybe would Monday be okay? And he says, yep, I can call you Monday. He says, I start work at 11 on Monday. And he said, when would you like me to call? And I said, well, if you'd like to make it your first call of the day at around 11, I said, that would be fine with me. And he says, I will. He says, he said, I'm putting this in my calendar right now and I will call you then. Well, I do have some problems still with the email and some other things, and I'll spare you the gruesome details, but I do need to talk to my friend Jim about these and see what's going to happen. I actually suspect, because this was compounded with the problems I had with Zoom, with my connection with Zoom yesterday, there's a problem with our modem. I think there's a problem with our modem because things are not working the way they did when we first got it. So I'm going to tell Jim that, and I'm going to ask him if he can make arrangements to send a techie out here to check it all over and whatnot. So we'll see. So yeah, very frustrating for sure. What were people saying? It's important to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Yep. Angel says we joke that we could be your BFF. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, Mary did sound like a piece of work. She was. And I was being nice to her. I wasn't yelling at her. I wasn't calling her a stupid, you know. I was thinking it, but I didn't call her that or anything. But she decided to take offense.
Well, there were a couple of times when she was talking, I wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise.
She was just going like she was reading a script as well. So, and heaven forbid, if you ever deviate from their script because they are completely lost at that point. Jan says, that's why I left Bell a long time ago. At least Rogers Answers is right here in Canada. Well, they didn't always though, Jan, because I used to be on Rogers and I left them for that reason and everything and went to Bell. So, you know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. You don't know. It probably also depends on who you get on the line too. You know, some of them know their job, others haven't got a clue. So whatever. Mary needs to take a little blue pill. Oh yeah. Well, you know, Judy, Bell sucks. So does Rogers. And it's the whole problem with our service industry. It is difficult to get good service these days. People just don't give a shit about doing a good job.
Well, part of that problem is the companies aren't loyal to people, so.
Yeah, they're not. So why should they be loyal to the company? They're there, they work their 8 hours, get a paycheck, go home, kind of thing. So let's talk a little further about it. Remember how I told you about the problems I was having getting that pattern for the quilt that I showed you that turned out to be written poorly, the Strong and Free quilt? And I went to Dragonfly Quilting in BC because they seemed to be the only place I could find it online. And then, of course, that was January the 7th, and I never did get it from them. And I finally did get a refund from them in the whole bit, and I got it from a different place that was closer to home. So, meanwhile, I had written a message on Facebook. It seems to be the way you get the attention of companies these days is go on Facebook and write a public message. And they will answer you quicker than contacting them directly through a chat service or a telephone call or something like that.
Yeah, it's Facebook or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah. Because they seem to react very quickly when you do that. I guess because they know there's all kinds of people on Facebook reading this stuff and they don't want bad rep, right? So it's not beneath me to use the power of social media. So I did. I wrote on Dragonfly Quilt's Facebook page exactly what the problem had been. I wasn't nasty. I wasn't jumping up and down and swearing at them and calling them you know what or anything like that. I just basically stated exactly what had happened and left it there. And I did say that I was very disappointed in their customer service, and as such, I would probably not be purchasing anything from them in the future. I got a call from the owner of Dragonfly Quilting in BC. He was very nice. He was very concerned about my experience. He sounded genuinely apologetic about it. So we had a little conversation. And he gave me some excuses, which there's some truth to what he probably said about what he had talked about on there, and I did believe him. But the main problem is that, and I said this to him, the pattern was online. It was there. There was nothing to indicate that this was a pre-order, out of stock, or a back order. I ordered it in good faith. You took my money, and I got nothing. I contacted you. No one was answering my emails until I kept repeatedly bombarding you with emails about it. Then I got somebody who told me this, and this, and was going to look into it and assured me that I was going to get this product shipped out to me within a few days. That never happened. I wrote more emails. No one responded until umpteen more emails by, and then I got a different person. And I said, so there's a problem here with this. Well, he said, well, that shouldn't have happened. Then he made some excuse. He said he didn't even know any of this was going on until he saw the Facebook thread. And that came from one of his employees who said, oh, you should take a look at the Facebook thread because there's a customer on here who is disgruntled about things. And that's why
it shouldn't go that far. It should,
no.
If you're a good business, you should have employees that can handle emails or questions and stuff.
Well, that was the thing. And I was about to say to him, well, really the onus is on you because you obviously are not communicating well with your employees about what they should do. Then my cell phone started to ring. I didn't know I had this feature. I guess I have call waiting on my cell phone. I didn't know that. And when it started to ring, I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I didn't know, what button do I push? I mean, nothing like seeing like an old man, but I'd never had this happen before. So I pushed the button and I lost the guy from Dragonfly and got the guy from Bell. And so that's who I'm talking to on that. And so when I was finished talking to him and I explained to him, I'm sorry, I said, I'm probably sounding very rushed on this call. I said, could you give me a call back in about 5 minutes? Because I'm on another call and I need to take it too. And I mean, I was very apologetic about it because,
that always happens. You never get a call in a million years and you get suddenly right after each other.
So I called back because, of course, your phone shows you who, your recent calls or incoming calls and that. So I called back to the guy at Dragonfly. I apologized to him. I said, I'm so sorry this happened and whatnot. So we carried on our conversation. Now, he offered me for the inconvenience and the problem a $25 credit on my next purchase from him. I said, I really appreciate that you're doing this, and that you've explained things and you've been very, very nice. But I said, I'm not going to accept the $25 credit because I said, unfortunately, I said, I don't think I'll be ordering anything from you in the future because this is not the first time. I said to him that I've had this problem. I said about a year ago, I ordered something from your company and I said it took forever to get to me. And I said, I understand you send it by Canada Post and we all know Canada Post is very, very slow, but this went beyond that. And I think I wrote an email at the time asking about my order then, and I didn't get any reply. So I said, I've been basically burned twice. So I'm sorry, but no, I won't be dealing with you again. I appreciate, though, the call. It was very nice of you to do that, and that does say something about your customer service.
But that almost sounded like he was doing damage control.
Yeah, he was. He was doing damage control. So no, I will not order anything from Dragonfly Quilting again. Now, meanwhile, I have a feeling the way he found my message was there was somebody responded to the message I had put into Facebook, but it was a customer because they said, well, they were a really good customer, dealt with Dragonfly Quilting all the time, just loved them, thought they were excellent, and were really surprised that I had had that problem and the whole bit and blah, blah. And I have a feeling this little busybody, whoever she was, and that's what she sounded like, a real busybody, she gave him a call and said, hey, we was just on Facebook and there's some guy that's irate about your service on there. He's calling you filthy names. Well, I wasn't. But anyway, so, I think that's how he found out about it. But nope, sorry, won't deal with them again. They blew it as far as I'm concerned. So, maybe other people have dealt with them and had great service, didn't have a problem. Great for you. I'm glad. But I'm just going with my own experience with that. Teresa says, first repair tech that comes will unplug and replug. If that doesn't work, you'll get a number 2. He will do a bit more. When you get level 4, he finds the staple installer and put through the wire. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've been down this road before, Teresa.
Yeah, per common thing is unplug, replug, which sometimes works.
Which, yeah, already done that. Actually, I have reset the modem many times. I reset the modem before we went on here today because our modem has we have 2 connections on it. One is a 2.4 gigahertz connection and the other one's a 5 gigahertz. Now 5 gigahertz is supposed to be much faster and 2.4 is slower, but I think has, or I don't know.
Actually, I don't think it's supposed to be slower. If it is slower, it has a wider range of connectivity.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the 5, well, actually the 5, you're right. I think the 5 is supposed to be a little faster.
But I do have some devices that will not, you can't connect at 2.4, have to be connected, or can't be connected at 5. They have to be connected at 2.4. So that's why we use both of them. And I often use what we call, we've named them Bland 1 and Bland 2. Bland 1 is the 2.4, and that's usually what I run my laptop on. But it does have a wireless setting on it, and I could run it from Bland 2. But I have it hardwired into the modem. Sort of. Now we're getting real technical. We have a bridge. I have a bridge. The bridge is wireless. Because the modem's in another room. It picks up the modem, but I have my laptop connected by an Ethernet cable to that bridge. So in a sense, it's semi-wireless. And I'm wondering if that is possibly the problem. Although this problem just started. I wasn't having any kind of major problems before this that I was aware of.
I have a bridge upstairs I'm connected, and it's working fine. And all yesterday, when you were going down and having trouble connecting on Zoom, mine was fine.
You were fine. So I don't know exactly what it is. So what I'm thinking is if my cable's long enough, I have a hole in the wall over here that I can run a cable through. I'll see if I connect directly into the modem and bypass the bridge, whether that makes a difference. But today I am on Bland 2 for this. Knock wood, we've been fine through the whole thing. So when I was on the art journaling group 1, I was on Bland 1 and I was having the same problem as I had yesterday with the retreat. And I had my little trick because I had my little pad up for it. So I was okay with that. So I don't know. But I'm going to talk to my friend Jim about all of these things and see. Because we pay the big bucks for this. We have the top service. We're supposed to be getting a gig.
Well, their top service is supposed to be 1.5 gig. We got the second from them.
Oh, we got second from them. Oh, they've gotten to a 1.5 now? Oh, jeez. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see. What happens with it all. But anyways, I don't know. Technology always fails you when you need it the most, right? So yeah, it's been a busy week. Very, in some ways, stressful. Yeah, I'm hoping next week will be a little lighter. Of course, I'm still dealing with the bank, too. That was on my plate this week, too. You know, my mother's estate. It took 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks, for her estate stuff to go through probate court and the lawyers and everything. That was all done right after Christmas, pretty far, 1st of January. I'm still waiting for the bank to get things settled out. I signed what I thought was the last thing I had to sign, with the bank 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, this coming Wednesday.
And it's not a difficult thing. All
No.
it is a bank account that they have to
There's nothing strange about it. It's just a simple bank account. And so my friend at the bank, I have these friends, that I call him Kriska, the investment person, or the person I have to go through for all of this. I've seen Kriska on multiple occasions. And so I sent her an email on Wednesday. It said, "Hi, Kriska. Can you give me an update on my mother's estate account? How things are going with all of that? I came in 3 weeks ago and signed the last form, or at least what I thought was the last form, and I've heard nothing from you." I didn't get an email back from her that day. I did get an email the next day, late in the day. She's very apologetic. She always is. "Oh, I'm so sorry it's taking so long." She says, "I'll look into this with it at head office. I'm not really sure what's happening there, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out." No email back from Kriska. So I'll be sending her an email on Tuesday. See, she doesn't work Mondays because I think she works the weekend on Saturdays on that. So because I've sent emails to her on a Monday before and they come back and say she's not in the office. She'll be in the office on Tuesday. So I'll send her an email on Tuesday and say, "Okay, what's going on?" This time I'm going to jump it up a slight level. Not that that gets you anywhere with a bank. I can tell you that. This is one corporation. It doesn't matter what you do. The bank will treat you like shit. They've got your money. That's all they care about. But I'll say to her, just out of curiosity, probate court was a lot faster than the bank, and probate court's a lot more complicated than this should be. So, what's happening, dear? What's going on? Tell me. Want to know. Inquiring minds. Yeah.
But the bank, they like to take money in. They don't like to give it back out.
I mean, I'd like to get this finalized. It's not like, okay, I knew it was going to take time. I knew that, and I was prepared for it. But come on. Like, if the lawyers can get their act together, and the courts, and our courts are so bloody backed up anyways, and they blame it all on COVID, but they've always been backed up. They were able to handle this in no time flat. Mm-hmm. They took my $3,000 to do that. Then, come on, get the lead out here. I've got things I want to buy. Right now, there might be a new Mac computer in my life at some point. Already paid for the computerized part of the long arm, but that hasn't come yet either. But they told me it would probably take 8 weeks for it. So, yeah. But they've got my money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These companies, the businesses, they won't make anything happen until you've paid them up front, but they don't have any problem making you wait. They've got your money, but they make you wait. Now, I'm not really complaining about the people that I'm getting the computer part for because I trust them. They were really good with the Lucy. It's APQS. They have a very great reputation for customer service and all that kind of stuff. It's just a question of like they're backlogged on these things, and that's okay. Yeah. I mean, I get it. And I know I will get it, and so that's okay. But it's just the way life works. It doesn't. That's what it's like. So yeah, so I've got that little problem, and now Walter's working on my mother's final income tax. And that's so Walter does the income tax, but we do it through the computer, right? And for years we were getting one that's called used to be called TurboTax. Well, I guess it's still called Turbo.
Yeah, it's still called TurboTax.
But the company is Intuit that you get it from. And for years, I had a subscription to it. Every year, a couple of months before tax season, they would let me know that the new version was coming out. They were, they were going to charge my credit card for it and everything. And then they'd give me the link and I'd download it and away we would go. Well, now they're deciding to do most of it online, which is not uncommon. Everybody does everything online, right? So I said to Walter, well, they've got different plans. And he checked it out and they wanted it. It looked like you couldn't download the program anymore. You had to do it all online.
Well, that's because I was connecting through a Mac. And I guess they have it so that the only versions that they have that you can download is for a PC.
That's
and
dumb.
So it automatically takes you to the online for the Mac, and I started doing the online, but it isn't the way I like doing it. I'm used to doing it with all the tax forms and checking it out and stuff like that, and that's the way they do it on the PC. So we looked into it a bit more, and now I have to do it on the PC.
Yeah, we did find that you could buy it and download it, because if you did it online, it looked like what they charged you was $40 for every tax return
It's
you did.
$35.99 for every tax return.
And we have 3 tax returns to do. So now the version that we downloaded does up to 12 returns on it, and cost with the tax came out to $89 or something. Well,
that's the same price almost. But
well, no, 3
times 36. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's more.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit more. But anyways, we have it now. So Walter's working on that, and we'll see what my mother has to pay. She always has to pay every year, but last year she paid a lot less than any other year. She only had paid $300 and some odd dollars.
Yeah, so
last year. See. And I got some money back last year for the first time in a long time. Well, I have a feeling this year that won't happen again. So, and of course, you have to pretty much do your income tax using a computer these days, because in the old days, the Canadian government used to send you the tax forms in the mail, right? You still had the option for those who wanted to do it using a computer program kind of a thing and filing it electronically. But you still got the forms. Then they stopped doing that. They didn't send you the forms. They used to send you just a code number that when you went to file it, if you were doing it on computer, you put this code thing in and it would allow it to go through. Now you don't even get that. You don't need it because you're going through one of these companies and it just automatically goes to it all. But what about the poor people who don't use computers to do it? Do it the old-fashioned way. Well, I guess you can still probably get the paper version, but you'd have to probably go to Service Canada outlet and to get this thing. Now, what happens if you are someone who's housebound or...
Well, it used to be, if you did when my parents passed away, it used to be you couldn't do the computer version for final taxation. You had to do the paper version.
That's right. So, I don't know. But here's another example. Yes, the government has no problem taking your money, but they have a real but they don't make it easy for you to do the stuff that you have to do legally for it. So, yeah, our government dollars at work.
The taxation forms can get a little bit convoluted if you've got a few deductions or stuff like that. So
that's why I have my accountant do it.
I've been doing them for years.
You have been. And I suppose if I had to, I could do it. My income tax is not complicated.
No, it isn't. Neither is mine anymore either. But it's still, you still have to sort of know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I don't, because I have you. So if I lose you, then I'll hire somebody. I'm a great believer in hiring out. Let the experts do it. It's worth the money.
A lot of people do that, actually.
Yeah, it's a big business.
Yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't be bothered with this. I'll let somebody else do."
Well, that's why this Intuit company has existed for so long, and why they do it. Because they also do other things besides the income tax. They are basically a financial service kind of a thing as well. So, I mean, it works pretty well. But didn't you say what? They ask you now a series of questions instead of showing you the form?
Well, no, that's because I was doing it on the Mac. It was the online version. The online version doesn't show you the form. It just starts asking you all these questions, and I'm going, I don't like this. I like more hands-on approach.
They're trying to make it user-friendly because well, if that's the Mac version online, that's probably because they know that people who use Macs are usually brain dead. Because everything's idiot-proof on a Mac, isn't it?
No, it isn't. It isn't.
I don't know. Well, I guess I'll find out, because I'm really seriously considering going to a Mac as opposed to using a PC. The only reason I never went to a Mac...
You might not like it. I
know. Well, I can adapt. I have to adapt. I'm getting too set in my ways. I've got to, I'm an old dog. I need to learn new tricks. Margaret says maybe you should go to the corporate manager. Yeah, trying to get to a corporate manager through Bell is almost impossible.
They're geared that if you ask for somebody higher up, they don't They don't do that
No,
anymore.
they won't do it. And there are no numbers you can find or email addresses. Although one time, back quite a long time ago, I did go to their Facebook page and I got somebody that very quickly solved my problems with that. But that was like a time when I sat on my computer in chat mode and on the phone with Bell for a whole day, literally. It was 5.5 hours before I decided to try social media. And within half an hour after posting what I posted on Facebook in the social media, I got somebody. In
Yeah,
fact,
actually, it was that last year. I have a car that has a satellite radio in it, and I was subscribing to Sirius XM radio, and I would phone them because last year I decided I'm not driving the car that much. I don't want to pay all this money for radio service. So I phoned them up to try and cancel it. Well, they're almost impossible to cancel. Like they cut you off, they hang up on you, they try to get you to do something else so that you still have an account with them. And so I went on to Twitter and wrote a nasty message on Twitter, and I got an instant response with a special phone number to call them that bypasses all the other thing. And yeah, I was able to cancel it through that.
yeah.
So it really does help.
So social media is basically the way to go. Angela says agreed. Or the experts when you can just makes sense. Teresa says they usually have the paper tax forms at the post office.
Yeah,
What's a post office?
They used to. I don't know if they still do.
What's a post office?
Yeah, we don't have really a post office anymore.
No, we have postal outlets and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm being a little facetious here. But post office? What's that? Kind of a thing. Angela says Eric and I have used Macs since 2015. We are converts now and not going back. What do you think of that? Now that you've had a Mac,
I like it, but there are occasionally things that happen, like the income tax today, that I end up having to go back to the PC.
But generally, you've had good luck with it, haven't you?
But I was a computer programmer for years and years, and I had to use a PC for everything. And since I retired, I thought, well, I'm going to try a Mac, see what that's like. Well, for my everyday life, it works good for me. But and I was a little iffy about going to it, but I do like things about it. I like the way it integrates with my phone system and everything else.
Well, with doing YouTube videos and everything like that, you have to compile your video and for editing. And I don't do a lot of editing, as you know, if you watch me generally, but I do, have to compile it and that kind of thing. And I find what I do is I transfer it over from my PC to my iPad. My iPad does the compiling, and if I need to do some minor editing, I can do it all in that. And then I transfer it back to my PC and upload it to YouTube. Now it's a bit of a roundabout way to do it, but it's because the iPad works better with the video and the graphics and stuff than anything I've been using on a PC. And now, mind you, I'm not buying big elaborate software on my PC for it. So maybe if I invested in something that cost me several $100s or something like that, but I'm not willing to do that. So this is the way I've been doing it forever. But if I had a Mac, I think it would be great for that. Plus, we have a lot of i products. We have iWatches. We have iPads.
You have an iPhone.
We have an iPhone. We have Apple TVs. We have multiples of those.
Yeah. I understand Teresa's comment about refuse to do Apple or Mac because of the proprietary nature. Yeah, you're right. It's like that on the Mac. If you want to download a third-party software thing or something, you may not be able to use it on the Mac as much as you can on a PC. But I do like how everything is. I like that the operating system is updatable, regularly updatable with a quality update. And for me, at current may not been a thing that I can use as readily if I was still working in the business world, because of my exposure to having to use PCs when I was working. But for me now, it seems to be working okay for what I need to do. But you're right, you kind of
Yeah.
have to use Apple software, and you can't get just a regular piece of software to run on it or some third party thing that somebody else has put up.
And I agree with Teresa too about that priority nature of it. That bugs me too, because they supposedly are making it idiot proof, user friendly. I don't want it to be user friendly. I like to get in there and decide where I'm going to put my stuff and create my own directories and that.
Yeah,
Now
you can do that.
I know you can do that, but and now that you've used it, you know that. But I mean, that's the thing. That's what way they designed them. But yeah, I agree with you too, Teresa, and that's why I've held out so long. Also, I held out long because the school system that I was working in used PCs, so they used Windows based operating systems. They didn't use Macs. So, I had to be compatible with the school. But I don't need to be any more. Also, the price. Going out and buying yourself a PC is a lot cheaper than buying a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
But then Angela says they've been using the same one since 2015 and no problems and that. Well, I've replaced many laptops over the years, and usually I get about 2-3 years, maybe 4, before I need to buy something new, because they just aren't cutting it with the software. The other problem with the PC is Windows updates. I have Windows 11 running right now. You really don't have a lot of choice. When Windows comes out with a major new version, you pretty much have to put it on your computer, because if you don't, a lot of software that you may end up getting onto your computer will not run with your older stuff. And Windows very quickly phases out the older versions and don't support it anymore. Also, though, there's little tricks. And this is what I learned with this problem I was having with my email. One of the fixes that the Jim wanted me to check out was, he says, here's something you probably didn't know. And I said, there's a lot of things I don't know, Jim. You tell me. You're the specialist. He says, are you running Windows 11? I said, yes, I am. He says, yeah, when you installed Windows 11, they hooked up a mail system for you on there. And you didn't even know they did that. No, I did not know that. And he says, it is going in and checking your email all the time. And that could be one reason why it's coming up and saying there's been too many attempts. But you didn't even know that. And I said, and while he's talking to me, I'm sitting in front of the computer and I type in the search for mail. Holy crap. There is a Windows mail system tied into my account and doing exactly what he said. And I've had Windows 11 on my computer since early fall, whenever. I didn't know that was there at all. And that was working on there. And you see, when you install Windows, they come up and they said, now we just need to ask you a few questions and get some more information, and we're just about all set up, and they have a little smiley face or something. And one thing, it wants you to put in like your email address in there. But you see, when you log into your computer, that's part of the security system, logging in with your email. At least that's what I thought it was. Turns out it's a little bit more than that. It's for this hidden mail system, because there is nothing on my desktop that shows me mail, nothing in my taskbar. And the way I found it was, they used to be able to pop up a screen where you saw all your programs, that not besides just the ones you would put shortcuts onto your desktop. But no, now what you have to do is you have to go into the magnifying glass, which is the search engine. It'll show you some things in programs, but they're not organized in little directories, alphabetical order, like in Windows 10. Then you have to type in what you're looking for. And that's what I did. I typed in mail. Bang! There it is. Mail app. They call everything an app. They're trying to copy, Apple. And so I got rid of that, and that helped. But I'm still having that problem too. Not as bad, but that. So, yeah, sneaky with it. And, try and get support from Microsoft. Well, Apple's probably not much better
Mm.
anytime.
I've had a few issues with the operating system when it updates on Mac, and something doesn't work for a little while, and then all of a sudden it mysteriously starts working.
Yeah. Yeah, Angela says, love the integration with watch, phone, iPad, and TV. Yeah, I do too. And Walter's got that. And I'm thinking,
I don't know.
bite the bullet
it's
and go
it's
for a Mac.
yeah, like you can always, if you have a lot of PCs, you can always go
Yeah.
back to
Well, yeah.
to using your PC if you need something. But I so far I kind of like the Mac that I'm using. So
Now, here's something. Got to ask you right now. If I got a Mac, can you use OBS on a Mac?
I don't know. I don't know if you
I
can or
don't know.
not.
That'll have to investigate, because right now that's what we're using to
There
do
may
this.
be a different kind of software that you use that's a Mac
Probably
software,
is.
yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Okay,
we'll
anyway.
see. Anyways, that's coming up in the future. That's all dependent if I'm getting my inheritance, because Macs are not cheap. So, okay, well, I think that brings us off to our time now. So, and we stayed up. We didn't have any crashes, so that's a good thing.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We spoke too soon.
I spoke too soon. Look at that. Oh, it's back. Okay. That's interesting. We're probably going to freeze here in just a second. You should see it. Oh, maybe not. It didn't do it to them. How come it did it to us?
I don't know. It buffered maybe or something.
Maybe. That's weird. Anyways, okay, before we jinx it, we're going to go. So thanks for joining us again today, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to everybody again next week. So, and watch for my... Oh, by the way, we did not have a So Chatty, if anybody cared, this week, because, to be honest, on Friday, I was just too busy doing other things for the retreat, so we didn't do a So Chatty. So,